Is your December calendar filling up? For many of us, this is the most wonderful time of year. We thrive on the energy of festive parties, of sending out cards, and the joy of finding and wrapping the perfect gifts for people we love. Our minds are swimming with recipes for Christmas dinner, and we're coordinating schedules so that we can connect with family that we may only see this one time all year. We pour so much of ourselves into making the season special, and it truly is a labor of love. It can feel like a joyful sprint to December 25th. But whether you love the Christmas season or feel worn out by it, have you ever found yourself in a quiet moment after all the chaos and fun, feeling like something was missing? As if in all the wonderful doing, the deep, quiet meaning of it all got lost in the hustle and bustle. If you've ever felt that way, well, you're not alone. It's an easy trap to fall into. The one season that's meant to celebrate peace on earth can somehow leave us feeling pulled in a million directions. We get so focused on creating a beautiful Christmas experience for our families that we can sideline He who is most important of all, Jesus Christ, at His own birthday celebration. It's a cycle many of us recognize year after year. Christmas is meant to be a time of deep joy, celebrating the birth of Jesus. So why does it sometimes feel more like a race to check things off a to-do list? Or for some people, it just feels like something they just want to be over with. Whether you love the holiday rush or you're just trying to keep up, it's really easy to get so wrapped up in finding the perfect gift and planning the perfect meal that the actual reason for the season gets buried under a pile of wrapping paper. If you've ever felt like the beautiful traditions of the holiday can sometimes get in the way of your faith, you're definitely not alone. The desire for a perfect Christmas can sometimes crowd out our peace. But what if the secret to getting it back, to truly transforming your Christmas, wasn't about adding more to your plate, but about embracing one ancient idea from the book of Psalms? Now, let's be clear. The problem isn't the decorating, the gifts, or the big meals. Those things are wonderful expressions of our joy and generosity. The trouble starts when the what we're doing overshadows the why we're doing it. When the checklist takes over, our hearts can get stretched thin. Culture tells us that the magic of Christmas is something we have to buy, build, and perform. That's a high bar, and it's easy to get worn out trying to reach it, even when we love the process. This pressure can make it hard to connect with God. We get so focused on the logistics of the celebration that we have very little time or energy left for the one being celebrated. Prayers might feel rushed, and reading the Bible can seem like just another task to complete. Even church can just become another event on the calendar. You're there physically, but your mind is 1,000 miles away running through that to-do list. At that pace, it's really hard to be truly present, even in a room full of people that we love. When we're just focused on tasks, we're not always building connections. We're more so managing an event. This checklist Christmas can feel like a weight that overshadows the very joy it's supposed to bring. But there is a simple, ancient, and powerful answer. It's an idea woven throughout the Bible, from the Psalms to the way the first Christians shared meals. It's the one thing that can shift your entire perspective, turning duties into worship and busyness into peace. And that one thing is gratitude. Now, when the Bible talks about gratitude, it's not just about politely saying thank you when something good happens. It's a mindset. It's about intentionally recognizing that God is the giver of all good things. It's a posture that pulls our focus away from our circumstances and points it back to Him. The author of the Psalms understood this deeply. They faced enormous challenges, yet their writings are filled with thanksgiving. Psalm 107 begins with this command: "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever." Now, this wasn't a suggestion for when life is easy. It was a declaration of truth no matter the circumstances. It was their spiritual anchor. The early church lived this out. Acts chapter 2 tells us the first believers ate together with glad and sincere hearts, an attitude that flowed directly from their gratitude for being saved. For them, Thanksgiving wasn't a special event, it was a way of life. And that is the key that unlocks a different kind of Christmas. Gratitude doesn't add one more thing to your checklist. It transforms the list that you already have. It's an invitation to simply pause, breathe, and see God working in the details of the season. So, how do we do this practically? How do we apply this ancient principle to our busy modern Christmas? Well, I want to share 3 simple but intentional ideas for you to try this year if you feel so led, that will help turn your Christmas table from a place of stress into an altar of thanksgiving. Reclaiming the beginning with a Bethlehem blessing. Have you ever felt like saying grace before a big holiday meal can sometimes feel rushed or routine? We say the words, but our minds are already on carving that turkey. So the first practice is to reclaim that moment and make it more intentional. If this is something you've noticed at your holiday table, then instead of a quick autopilot prayer, try something I call the Bethlehem blessing. It's incredibly simple, but so powerful. Before anyone eats, go around the table and have each person share one thing about the Christmas story that gives them hope. It could be as simple as, "I'm thankful for Mary's courage," or "I'm thankful the angels announced peace on earth," or "I'm thankful Jesus came for ordinary shepherds." Then, after everyone shares, each person can read a short Bible verse about the Nativity that you've printed on little cards. Simple, just write them out. Verses like Isaiah 9:6, "For to us a child is born, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." Or Luke 2:14, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those whom his favor rests." Think about what this does. First, it immediately stops the going through the motions feeling, making everyone pause and reflect on Jesus' birth. Second, it demonstrates to any children at the table that the celebration begins with Jesus. Third, for those who may not be believers or are off the narrow path, it can introduce them or remind them of who Jesus is and what He did for us and why His birth is the most important birth in all of human history. And finally, it places God at the head of the table before the meal even starts. You're literally entering His gates with thanksgiving and turning your dining room into a place of praise. Bake a blessing with Bethlehem bread. The early church was known for breaking bread together. This was partly for sustenance, but it was also deeply symbolic of God's provision and their unity with Christ. We can bring that same intentionality to our table by baking a simple loaf of bread. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, are you really asking me to add baking bread to my to-do list? Hear me out. This isn't about a complicated Pinterest perfect loaf. This is a simple, no-need recipe where the process is more important than the product. So, the day before your meal, you simply mix 4 ingredients together in a bowl: flour, water, salt, and yeast. As you mix them, you can reflect on where Jesus was born. The name Bethlehem literally means house of bread in Hebrew. You let the dough sit and rise, a perfect picture of how God's grace works quietly and often unseen. And when you bring that warm loaf to the table, it's more than just bread. It's a centerpiece of gratitude. As you break it and pass it around, you can say, Jesus called himself the bread of life, and he was born in Bethlehem, the house of bread. Let's thank God for sending his son. This one simple act connects your modern celebration to the ancient heart of Christmas. It's a tangible reminder, something you can see and taste, that Jesus is all that we need. It transforms simple food into a powerful statement of faith. If you're interested in this idea, I'll leave a recipe for this simple bread in the description box. Follow the star with a 3-sentence testimony. The Star of Bethlehem led the Magi on a long journey to find Jesus. Our final practice creates a moment that leads everyone at your table back to him through personal stories. This requires zero preparation, only a little intention. After the main meal, perhaps when dessert is served, you invite everyone to share 3 short sentences, a 3-sentence testimony. First you say, this year, one way God carried me was blank. You can fill in the blank. This names a specific challenge and acknowledges God's faithfulness. Second, this Christmas, I'm thanking God for blank. This brings the focus to present gratitude. And third, next year, one way I want to follow Jesus more closely is by blank. This sets a personal forward-looking intention. The power of this is in its simple honesty. It's not a performance. It's an opportunity for personal testimony that glorifies God. It creates a space for real connection, not only highlighting the Christmas story, but also sharing how God is still active in our lives today. It's a moment to look back at his faithfulness, be thankful for the present, and look forward on our own journey of faith, inspired by the Magi who followed a star to find their king. This Christmas, we all have a beautiful choice. Whether we're sprinting through the season with joy or just trying to catch our breath, we can choose a different, more ancient path, one that leads to true rest and celebration. By starting our meal with the Bethlehem blessing, we put the focus back on the Nativity. By baking Bethlehem bread, we create a tangible symbol of Jesus, the bread of life. And by sharing a 3-sentence testimony, we make our own journey to Jesus in the final act of the feast. Now, these ideas aren't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about deepening the why behind what you're already doing. You may have ideas of your own that you want to try. Either way, it's about shifting our focus from the performance of Christmas to the presence of Christ. This is how we can transform our Christmas feast from a chore or yearly routine into a true celebration of God. This is how we ensure our Christmas feels less like a checklist and more like Christ. The journey to a more meaningful Christmas begins with one small step. If you have a unique Christmas tradition that highlights Christ, please share it in the comments. You just may inspire someone to try it this year themselves. If this message resonated with you and you desire to celebrate Christ in every season of your life, then I invite you to subscribe and to become a part of my channel, Grace, Truth, and Love, where I offer Christian women education, edification, and encouragement on their walk with Christ. I would love to have you as a part of this community. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. I'm so happy you're here. I love reading your comments, and I'm very, very grateful that you're a part of this community. It really blesses me. Until next time, God willing, I will see you back here at Grace, Truth, and Love. God bless you. Have a beautiful day and have a beautiful, blessed, glorious, love-filled, food-filled, gratitude-filled, Christ-filled Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. I'll be outside.